Very nice. Good job, my friend. I think so. It's fighting too hard for its size. There. Oh!
Oh! A swing and a miss.
That won't make the reel. You suck. That wasn't funny. When I said, oh no, you suck again, that was funny. You see on this flounder where his eye was just starting to migrate over. This is a little flounder that I just caught, but his eye's starting to migrate over. And that's a cool thing about flounders. When they're born and their eyes are on each side of their head, but then as they get older, the eyes move over, and hence they lay on the bottom flat like this, and then they look at their prey up above, and they'll just fly up and grab the bait and come back down.
You see?
See how it's...
Oh yeah, I've never seen one that small.
Yeah. Yeah. Yours was smaller, and I was just nice enough not to put it on camera. Yeah?
First look of the day to warm it up for, show you guys what they look like.
Oh God. Well, I heard another one. Yep, there's another one.
I think that's one that popped just a minute ago.
Little baby, but that's good to see. Brad, all you need is your red.
Yeah, really.
That's a very nice trout, my friend.
Yeah.
Christ.
Not bad.
Nope, not bad at all.
Well done.
Don't get him in the ankle line, Bradley.
Not bad. Not bad.
It's a good one. Skinny. But what we're doing is we're sitting in this cove, and it's hard to see, but up on the shoreline there's actual oysters in that, and when this tide gets high, these fish push up. Look at that fish right there. Right there. These fish push up on the bank, but when this low tide comes out, they sit on this little flat right here. And we've caught a lot of snook in here. Some trout. Have we caught any reds in here? I don't remember catching any reds right in here. But there's up and down this shoreline, back over this way, there's a lot of mullet that will, when the tide gets a little higher, that come up in here. There's some snook over in here too, but oh, I got one. Oh my!
Oh, you still suck.
That's better. That's another thing about when you have with these negative low tides like we have right now, is it exposes areas like that where you can see the oyster beds up underneath the mangrove. So when you come back in an area, you know what the bottom's like, so you can tell if it's going to be a fishy area or not. And there's oysters all along that shoreline over here, and there's a bunch of mullet out farther away from that, and these snook are stacking up right in here. But that's why I like the winter time low tides, is because it really gives you an idea of what's out there, potholes, oyster beds, things like that. So you know that if there's going to be fish up there on a high tide, these fish they're not going to move very far. They're only going to move, until they feel comfortable in the depth, and it slightly drops off. We're probably sitting in 3 feet of water here, and it's shallow up here, but there's still, the fish are getting warmed up by the sun, and it's a really dark bottom. As you can see, there's just, the water clarity is really not that good right here, but it warms up quick, so that's why these fish are sitting here, and of course, fishing on a full moon, which I hate. But the fish have been pretty lethargic this morning, but dang, my bait ran all the way back to the boat. But they're getting better. They're getting better. If I had better fishing partners, it would probably be better, but man, that was a big snook. Oh no, you suck again. As soon as I turn off that camera right there is when you got that in. That was a big snook. Oh no, both of you suck again.
And now Todd's turn to suck.
No, I'll catch mine.
Well, you've been sucking all day anyway.
I gotta turn this camera back on because I don't need y'all catching any more fish before I get caught up. Double? No.
Told you.
They're not big, but they're fun. I had some people asking me about the loop knot that I tie. Pretty much all it is an overhand knot like this. Take that tag in, go through the eye, and then back through the loop. Wrap it around twice. Once, twice, back through the loop. Tighten up. And that's your loop knot. That folks, that's a monster. Look at it.
Sucking my thumb.
Man, they're busting all over the place. One thing you guys want to do is when you're, especially when you're snook fishing, is when you get frayed like this, you definitely want to change out, because as soon as you don't change it out and you hook up on a fish, and it's going to be a big fish, and you're going to get broken off, and then you're going to cuss yourself, like I cuss Brad all the time. But you want to make sure that you change this, because if you don't, it's going to break. Yeah, it is. Yeah, that's a nice red. Big red. Got him. Well, if you guys, oh, Brad's on. If you haven't noticed, it's gotten very, very cloudy, and we've got a front coming in, and the bite has just absolutely gone off the hook. We had a really good snook bite earlier. We've caught some nice redfish. He's got a kitty. And but these fish are going off because this front is coming in, and we're about maybe an hour away from it raining, hour and a half. Oh, I can't believe I lost him. Okay, let me get back to where I was as Brad is reeling in a fish. But what's happening with this front coming through, the barometric pressure changes. And when the barometric pressure changes, these fish go on the feed. and they'll feed like crazy until that front comes through. There's been days that I've been on the water where the front is coming through and we're catching fish after fish after fish, and I can see the blue sky in the distance, and I would tell my clients, as soon as this blue sky gets to us, these fish are going to shut off. And they're like, no, there's no way, and I'm like, yeah, there is a way. And sure enough, that high pressure gets to us and they shut completely down, and it's that barometric pressure. They love the change of a barometric pressure, especially going from a high down to a low like it is right now. And I mean, we've got fish busting all around the boat, like that one right there. And I probably won't catch it, but oh, yep, he hit it and I caught him. Double. Oh, we about to have a double. Trout.
Trout was waiting.
Yeah, he was. So anyway, that's your weather lesson of the day. Did I explain it well enough, Brad?
So long ago.
Just to kind of add on to the barometric pressure talk that we were talking about, we also had a major feeding time from 1:30 to 3:30, and we're just coming to the end of it. And it was a pretty good flurry there in that major feeding time. They really went off with this front coming in, and now they're starting to slow down a little bit. But yeah, we had a pretty good flurry of fish. But I always try to pay attention to the Solunar periods and to the tide movement of when those Solunar periods are, because those are usually the best times during that time to fish. Is if we know that we have slow tides one day, we really concentrate either on the minor or major feeding times, because that's really when the fish are going to eat the best. Countless times I've followed the Solunars and had wonderful days. And it doesn't happen all the time. As I'm talking, Chad's hooking up with a snook, and but always pay attention to your tides. Like right now we have an incoming tide. We had an early morning negative tide. We have an incoming tide right now coinciding with the major feeding time. And a major feeding time is when the moon is overhead and the moon's underneath. The minor feeding times are when the moon is setting and the moon is rising. So kind of pay attention to those, and a lot of hunters kind of take heed on those major and minor feeding times, because that's when the game animals move around the best also.